A third-party service provider is someone other than the air navigation service provider or the operator that provides services to make flight operations safe and efficient. SkyGrid is one of these TSPs, or third-party service providers, and we are very focused on enabling autonomous aircraft to integrate into the airspace and enabling advanced air mobility to start their operations and then scale. And this is why I think it's these converging forces today that's making TSP an important topic, right? We want more digital operations, we want more automated access to the airspace, and we want safe integration of all sorts of new technologies, the most important one being autonomous aircraft. Third-party services largely exist because of, I think, a business imperative. If you're an innovator building a new aircraft, you have lots of things to worry about. You have the onboard systems, you have the mechanical system, you have the airframe, you have to get it certified. That is a really deep technology stack. And when you think about today's aviation, where we want to go increasingly automated and autonomous, we want to go to advanced air mobility, embodying all these new technologies, they have to not only build new technologies, but they also have to integrate into the airspace in different ways, operate at much higher densities, operate in urban environments, operate autonomously. That technology stack really compounds. And so that's why we need third-party services, is to bring the ground segment, bring a lot of those technologies that can then interface with the aircraft and enable them to operate safely, so that innovators on the airplane side don't have to build everything, and they don't have to build everything from scratch each time. So I think really third-party services exist to make autonomous aviation possible, to make AAM scaled, and to make all of these advanced aviation concept viable businesses. We are naturally, very enthralled by the aircraft themselves. It's fascinating, and the technologies are impressive. But it's important to note that both technologies don't exist just as aircraft. There's a whole ecosystem and a set of technologies on the ground, sensor networks, command and control systems, decision aids, that has to exist for these aircraft to operate at scale. That's really the opportunity and promise of third-party services, is to deliver these capabilities to complete the entire technology stack for autonomous aviation and AAM. Within AAM, the need for TSPs are actually quite diverse. Autonomous aircraft need ground-based surveillance, they need weather services, they need high-integrity data to integrate into the airspace and operate safely, right, within this high-quality digital twin of the operating environment. For other aircraft, like crewed AAM vehicles and other kind of urban air mobility vehicles, they need to operate now at lower altitude over complex urban environments with high degrees of safety. And they need third-party services to bridge a lot of the airspace integration gaps and operational gaps that current air navigation services do not provide. So that's an opportunity for third-party services to operate in concert with the operator to complete the equation for AAM operations. What companies like SkyGrid were building is, in some ways, the glues of the AAM ecosystem. And the advantage and challenge of our services is to be able to appeal to diverse stakeholders and customers within this community. So the back end of our services, which is centered around this common operating picture, high fidelity digital twin of the environment, and these advanced tactical and strategic services to help you plan and execute your operations with a high degree of confidence and safety and efficiency, all of that can serve different segments. Certainly the operators, I think they expose also a view to the air navigation service provider that can be very useful, and they also can support other actors and resources within the ecosystem, things like supplemental data providers, right, providing a way to expose their data and expose their services, and then also vertiports and other key resources, integrating the availability of those resources into the system to make your planning much stronger and much more comprehensive. The core of our services start with a high-quality common operating picture of the space that tells you where obstacles are, what's the traffic situation, what's the weather like. Once you have all of this data, we then build into the system a lot of intelligence things like tactical deconfliction, strategic deconfliction, advanced flight following, and conformance monitoring services. All of that allows the operator to fly smarter, reduces the workload that's imposed on air traffic management entities, and that combined allows advanced air mobility to scale. It allows autonomous aircraft to integrate, and that future of aviation becomes real with services like what we provide. We're starting our services in such a way that they can support existing operations and the first generation of advanced aero mobility and very excitingly autonomous aircraft as well. But it's important to know that we also, in our own concept of operations and other concept development work, envision these services will evolve in time. Initially, they're going to be more advisory services, helping operators to fly with more smarts. But in time, they'll become more automated. So we can gradually add more capabilities and automation into the kind of airspace and air traffic management side of the house as well. And that's really, I think, the beauty of third-party services as well, is to provide new capabilities that enables fundamentally these new entrants. Advanced aero mobility is very exciting. It pushes forward all sorts of new technologies at the vehicle level, things like autonomy, electrification, miniaturization of electronics, advanced composites, batteries, you name it. And it's seen as kind of a playground for the future of aviation, in addition to being a new kind of way to democratize flight in itself. I see the same opportunity on the digital side. So third-party services like SkyGrid, some of the early use cases will be in advanced aero mobility and enabling autonomous flight. That's a subject that we've touched on quite a bit today. But what's really exciting to me is that once we perfect these new ways to operate more digitally, with more intelligence and more awareness of the environment and higher integrity and assurance, we can then scale this to improve the operations of other segments of aviation and therefore multiply the effects of what we're building. And that's incredibly exciting.